Sometimes you want a quiet escape from the busyness of the city, and this day trip to the north of Amsterdam gives you all of the picturesque village views you could ever want. For just €22, you can visit 3 of the prettiest villages near Amsterdam, all within a 40-minute bus ride. Volendam is the largest of the 3 villages we'll visit today, and one of the most famous fishing villages in Holland. From the Amsterdam Central Station, take bus 52 to the Noord Station, and from the Noord Station, take bus 316 or 110 to Volendam Centrum. It should only cost around €5, and if you have a chip-enabled card, you can just tap on. But don't forget to tap off or you'll be charged a lot more. With over 20,000 residents, there were plenty of locals running errands and biking through the center of the village, but it's easy to find a quiet alley to wander. The best area for a scenic stroll is Doolhof. Doolhof is the oldest part of town and is Dutch for maze. The narrow streets are a bit like a maze, but it's a small area so you won't get lost. The wooden houses are painted green and have traditional Dutch shutters. My favorite views were along the water, and if you go earlier in the day, it's so peaceful and the reflections are beautiful. After wandering the picturesque streets, head to the main tourist street along the lake. There's plenty of restaurants and souvenir shops. You can take your picture in traditional Dutch outfits and visit the Volendam cheese factory. You can see what a traditional cheese factory looked like, watch a brief demonstration of how the cheese is made, and sample tons of amazing cheeses, all for free. But after sampling all the delicious flavors, it's pretty hard not to buy some to take home. We had a quick lunch at Fish and Chips Volendam to sample some of the local fish. It was pretty good and cheaper than the overpriced surrounding restaurants. One of the traditional delicacies in the Netherlands is gerookte palling, or smoked eel. So if you're feeling adventurous, you can find a restaurant to sample some in Volendam. Taking the ferry to Marken is a fun way to get a unique view of both villages from the water. While Marken was an island until 1957, it's now connected to land by a bridge on the other side, so you can buy a one-way ferry ticket for €10 and then walk through the village to the bus stop. Round-trip tickets are €17 if you prefer to return to Volendam. The ferry has been running for 100 years, connecting the 2 villages in about 30 minutes. Even though they're only a few kilometers apart, the 2 towns are different. They even practice different religions. Volendam is Catholic and Marken is Protestant. Marken is smaller than Volendam with less than 2,000 residents. The picturesque harbor is lined with wooden houses and beautiful boats. Marken feels more lived in and authentic. There's so many beautiful corners to explore. You can also visit the Marken Museum for €3, but it wasn't open when we visited in November. The wooden shoe factory is a stop for many of the tours that come through this area, so we stopped by to check it out. But it's €7 for a 15-minute demonstration, which felt a little expensive, so we passed and spent more time exploring the village. My favorite view was on Westerstraat with a canal, wooden houses, and the church in the background. The bus stop is near the wooden shoe factory and across the street from the Albert Heijn supermarket. From here, take bus 111 to the last village on our list, Broek in Waterland, a small village with a residential feel. When you get off the bus, don't cross the street, but head into the village on the same side of the street you got off the bus on. Maybe because the sun was setting and we were visiting in November, but it was completely empty. Of course, there's old wooden houses, mostly painted with gray primer. They have traditional details like ceremonial doors for weddings and funerals. The village is surrounded by water and used to be a port for the Dutch East India Company and was 20 meters deep at some points. Eventually, the harbor was cut off from the sea, and Broek in Waterland became a popular holiday village for rich people to escape to during the summer. It also became known as one of the richest villages in Holland. Since we were visiting later in the day, the church had already closed, but it is a popular destination to visit as well and has a cafe if you're looking for a bite to eat. During the spring and summer, you can rent a boat to explore the canals, But unfortunately in the winter there weren't any boat rentals open, so we enjoyed a quick stroll around the village before heading back to Amsterdam. From Broek and Waterland, you can take the bus back to Amsterdam Central, stopping in Noord Station again, for €3, bringing our total to €22. You'll get a lot of steps in and see 3 beautiful but each unique villages and a taste of the Dutch countryside on this easy day trip from Amsterdam. What do you think? Will you be visiting?